Civilization as we know it has been fried, fractured, and indeed completely fucked thanks to that good old plot device in post-apocalyptic science fiction, nuclear war. Now the only traces of humanity left are in the form of a number of scattered makeshift villages, whose residents live in fear of mutant biker gangs. As you do. Enter Kenshiro, a wandering hero with 7 scars on his chest that forms the shape of the Big Dipper, a bad omen, according to one of the village elders, as wherever he goes, chaos will soon follow. Fist of the North Star is another excuse to show psychotic torturers indulging in man's inhumanity against man, woman and child, which gives Ken a righteous excuse to use his supernatural fighting technique, Hokuto Shinken, which literally translates as the Fist of the North Star. In other words, it means Ken is a right tasty bastard when it comes to fighting. This deadly form of martial art basically involves Ken twatting his opponents and making them explode from the inside out. Lovely stuff. I can't see them teaching you that down at the local leisure centre. After all, who would clean up the mess afterwards? Ken teams up with a young thief called Bart, or Bat, depending on the translation, along with a little girl called Lynn, who watched her parents being brutally murdered at the hands of some of those aforementioned mutant bikers. Since then she's been completely mute, that is until Ken comes along and uses his powers to ease her suffering and enable her to speak again. Between them, this unlikely trio come across a whole load of shit, one episode after another. And indeed, each episode follows the same basic idea. Ken, along with his 2 young sidekicks, arrive in a village that's been terrorised by some evil ruler and his personal army, who take great pleasure in stealing the villagers' supplies of food and water and generally not being very nice. In steps Ken, who floors all the baddies with his fighting techniques, making heads and bodies explode until the big boss is left. The big boss in question usually has some other special fighting technique of his own, but ultimately Ken is able to overcome this and win the day before heading off on his vigilante way for the next episode. Hey, it's Mad Max meets Bruce Lee meets He-Man!
The North Star Fist of remaining regrets!
Ken is a dark, brooding hero who rarely smiles and probably only hangs around with a couple of children in order to keep his own humanity in check. Despite this, he becomes a beacon of hope in this post-apocalyptic world. Throughout the series, Ken is seeking revenge against his former best friend, Shin, a master of the Nanto Seiken style, or Fist of the South Star. This is the man that gave Ken the 7 scars on his chest and kidnapped his fiancée. The series went on for 152 episodes in Japan, however, only the first 36 episodes of the first series was translated and dubbed by Manga Entertainment in 1999, which were then released on good old VHS on a monthly basis. However, Manga Entertainment then decided to stop releasing these after only the first 24 episodes. This was particularly annoying for me as I had been collecting the videos on a monthly basis and following the story. At one point the episodes were admittedly starting to get a little repetitive, as it was literally the same story each time. However, in the final video volume that was released, it finally looked like we were actually getting somewhere, as Ken had finally found the location of the city of Southern Cross, which would no doubt then lead to a bloody rematch with his former best friend, Shin, who in the meantime was having his own problems as his personal army had just turned on him. I waited in anticipation for the next volume to be released, only for it never to happen, and without so much as an announcement by Manga Entertainment to explain why. I would eventually catch the remaining episodes years later when they were leaked onto YouTube and then even later onto DVD and the Sci-Fi Channel, but I never really forgave Manga Entertainment for what I considered at the time to be poor treatment to its fans. Fist of the North Star also spawned a number of animated feature films based on the series. The first one, simply entitled Fist of the North Star, was an adaptation of the TV series, although it did take a number of liberties with the order of the events and how the story unfolded. Nevertheless, this was hugely popular, and being a feature film, it was allowed to be far more violent in tone than the TV series was. This was also the feature that kickstarted my interest in anime back in the early 90s. I will probably do a sort of manga special here on the Big Daddy D reviews at some point, but for now I wanted to get Fist of the North Star covered in a separate vid. There was also a live-action Fist of the North Star movie as well, starring British kickboxer Gary Daniels. However, the least said about that, the better, quite frankly. There's also been a number of original video animations released since, such as New Fist of the North Star and The Legends of the True Saviour. To be honest, even though the style of animation is better and smoother than the original TV series, the storyline and pacing wasn't. You might want to track those down on YouTube first before you commit yourself to buying them. Oh, speaking of which, make sure you also watch Dub of the North Star, which is a fan-based parody in the same style of Dragon Ball Abridged.
Maybe he's really stupid.
Herp derp, it's a real mouse!
In short, Fist of the North Star is well worth checking out for all fans of Japanese anime, kung fu flicks and post-apocalyptic sci-fi. Therefore, the Big Daddy D will give this series the resounding thumbs up.